Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about how to build your credit fast using loans. So stick around if you need to learn how to build credit. Hey everyone, if you've been trying to work on your credit and you have barely been seeing any results, you need to go ahead and take a look at the workshop that I just opened up that is currently free so that you can learn where you went wrong while you were trying to work on your credit. During that lesson, you'll learn the 4 don'ts when it comes to working on your credit, the mistakes people make when writing dispute letters, why you shouldn't only dispute with the credit bureaus, and also the accounts that people waste time disputing. Not to mention, you'll get to see real results from a customer who used my methods and they were able to get their credit straightened out and bought a brand new home within 7 months. So go ahead and sign up for that training today. The link is going to be down in the bio. And while you're trying to work on your credit, you have to see all 3 of your credit reports and scores. And My Score IQ, a company that I use for myself and for all of my customers, has a $1 7-day trial so you can see your credit reports and scores so you can know where you stand, because you can't work on your credit without knowing what's going on all 3 reports. So please check out My Score IQ. The link to them is going to be down in the description as well. Hey everybody, Will Frazier here, your credit expert, bringing you the tips you need to get your credit back on track, because what goes down must come up. And if you don't want your credit score to drop 300 points, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified of any new videos I drop just like this. So once again, in this video, what we're going to be talking about is how to build your credit fast using loans. And I'm actually going to give you an account that you can use to do that with no credit check, and you don't have to worry about getting an inquiry on your credit while you're trying to build credit. Now, first off is a few points that you need to know to make sure that while you're on this journey of trying to build up your credit, that you're doing it the right way. That'll make sure that you see increased approvals at the different places that you may apply for something, and to make sure that you're maximizing how you're using the credit building tactics to get approved and build up your credit score. Now, when it comes down to building credit, you can actually use several different types of accounts. And just so you know, I'm gonna put the link to that account I referred to down in the description just in case you want to check it out early, but I'll let you know more about it coming up. But first, a few things that you need to know to get started are basically there are multiple different types of accounts you can use to build credit, and one being a loan, the other being a revolving credit or a credit card. Now, as I said, for the purpose of this video, what we're going to be talking about is building credit using a loan. Now, another thing that's going to be important for you to know is you need to make sure while you're building credit that you are looking at your credit reports as consistently as you can, because you want to actually be able to see what's happening with your credit. Just like if you were trying to lose weight, you would want to look at a scale constantly to try to see if you're actually gaining or losing weight. You want to make sure that you're looking at your credit on a consistent basis to see what the benefits of your credit building activities are actually doing to your credit score. And for that, you want to make sure that you're looking at FICO scores, because FICO scores are what lenders use. So basically, you want to be looking at what they will be looking at. You don't want to be looking at something like a Vantage score that you get on Credit Karma, because of course it may not be accurate compared to what the lender will see when you actually step into their office and apply. Now, you can see Vantage scores on Credit Karma, several credit monitoring sites that are out there. I do have a credit monitoring site that actually uses FICO scores, and there are quite a few different ones, but most of them use Vantage score, but there are a few that use FICO, and that's what you want to see. Now, keep in mind that there are different versions of FICO. Every lender can use a different version of FICO for their approval. So, you can still see variations of your score, but it's always going to be the closest to what the lender is going to pull if you are actually monitoring your credit with a FICO score. So now that you know what type of score you need to be looking at while you're doing all of these activities, the next thing that you want to know is how long will it take to actually see a credit score, especially if you don't have any credit score at all right now. So if you are starting off brand new with no credit at all, reporting on your credit report, meaning you don't have any accounts that are open that you're paying on, then you would actually have to use credit for about 6 months before you would see a benefit to your score. And actually, that may be 7 months depending on how the company reports to the bureaus or when you applied. It could be a month in delay as far as their reporting, or it could be that you applied after they reported and then it takes a little extra time for it to hit your credit report. But basically, that's why I'm throwing the 7 months out there, is the amount of time you want to give it to hit your credit report and see the benefit. Now, anything before that 6 months of payment history reporting on your credit report, you will not see a credit score if you're looking at a FICO score, because of course FICO scores are generated in order to give a representation of how well you use credit. So if you don't have enough use of credit on the credit report, it won't be able to generate a score. And a lot of times if you're seeing a credit score and you know you don't have any open accounts, and you have maybe a collection or two out there, you're probably looking at a Vantage score, because Vantage scores will calculate a score for you even though you don't have any active open accounts if you have something on your credit report. So now you know how long it takes to actually build up credit. And of course, to do that, the only thing you have to do is pay on time. I don't think I have to tell you that. I'm pretty sure you know that already. So once you've actually gotten this account, you've used it for at least 6 months or 7 months, and given it time to report on your credit report, you should see some type of credit score. Now, what your credit score will be is going to be kind of a random thing. It's no way to really tell, but it's going to depend on what's on your credit report. If you did have some collections out there or charge-offs out there on your credit report before, using this account, and this is your first time actually using an account, it could be, that you may not see an extremely high score. You could be in the 6s, whether low or high. And also, if you do already have, other accounts out there and you are getting this to help build credit in addition to what you already have, it depends on what negatives that are on your credit report. Just building credit, like adding good accounts to your credit report to try to help your score, isn't going to completely help you if you still have negative information on there. So of course, that's stuff that you're going to want to try to get off of your credit report. And of course, if you need help looking at your credit report, you can reach out to me. Down below, I also have a link for a consultation where I look at your credit and tell you what you need to do in order to get your credit in a better direction. And I also have several do-it-yourself options listed down in the description as well. But once you've dealt with any negative accounts that you have on your credit report, that will make it a lot easier for your score to increase from those good accounts that you added on your credit report. You never want to do just one or the other. You need to build credit and deal with your negative accounts. Now, with all of that being said, of course, now you need an actual loan account to use in order to build up credit. And of course, you want to get something that's not going to have an inquiry to your credit so that you don't have to worry about that. But I want to share one other good tip about using loans to build credit before we talk about the actual account. Now, one thing you want to be aware of when you're using loans to build credit, when you initially get them, they can cause your credit score to drop unless you have never had a loan before. Those of you that haven't had loans before, you will see the most benefit as far as increase in points on your credit report if you use a loan to build credit. If you already have active loans out there, it's probably not going to benefit you as much as it would the person that does not have any active loans out there on their credit report. Now, that's how it affects your credit score in the beginning. But what ultimately you're going to need to think about as well is when you're actually done paying off the loan. So after you pay off a loan and it closes, usually that will actually cause your credit score to drop. And the reason that that happens is because it's kind of similar to closing out a credit card. If you close it, it can make your score drop because of the area that you're seeing benefit from this account usually is in you paying it down. And as you pay it down, because that deals with the amount of debt that you owe, that actually starts to benefit your score. But once it's paid off and it closes, you're no longer seeing a benefit in that area, so it can cause your score to drop. It does not affect the age of your credit report because the age from that account will still be there. It's strictly the closing of the account that affects your score. So with that being said, anything that you would want to do with your credit, you would want to do it before you've actually paid off the loan, and maybe when you have the loan down to a low, amount that you owe as far as the balance goes. So again, don't let that discourage you from using loans to build credit, because loans can help you, especially like I said, those of you that do not have any active loans on your credit report. It will benefit you a lot because there's actually a part of your credit called mix of credit, or having different types of accounts, which benefits you. And if you don't have any active loans, that will actually benefit you to actually have one on your credit report. And it will benefit you again more greatly than somebody that already has active loans on their credit report. Now, with all that being said, I need to recommend an account for you guys to use to actually start building up credit. Now, one place that's very good that I recommend to you guys, it isn't a traditional where you go to the bank type loan. It is actually a credit building loan that allows you to get the loan without any credit check, and the actual payments that you make are put into a savings where at the end of the loan you can draw out all of that money, and then instead of you getting the money up front, blowing it, then trying to pay it all back, you can just start the loan to build up your credit on all 3 credit bureaus, and then it'll, which all accounts don't do. That's why I'm mentioning that part. So you can build credit on all 3 credit bureaus, and you'll actually be putting money into a savings, and you'll get that money out at the end. Now, the place that I'm talking about is called Credit Strong. You probably have heard of them before, but basically they do offer a pretty decent account. There is interest involved, and you will have to pay a fee up front, an admin fee. That is the cost of signing up for the service with them. But the monthly payments that you will be making are as little as $15, and they will report a $1,000 loan on your credit report. Again, you are not getting the money up front, but they are reporting it as if you did get a $1,000 loan up front. You are actually making payments into a savings account, and then you'll pull that money out at the end, as I mentioned. And because of the way that they have this set up, this is something that you can cancel at any given time, and you can also pay it off early at any given time. So one of the best ways I would recommend for you to use an account like this, because it doesn't have any credit check. Of course, apply for it, get no credit check, you get approved for it as long as they can identify who you are through your social and other information. That's all they require, is being able to verify who you are, which most companies have to do. They will not check your credit report at all, so no hard inquiry. You get this account, start making the payments for at least 6 to 7 months, and then you should see an actual credit score be generated for you if you don't have one, or it should help to build up your credit score from the payment history, or from the fact that you haven't had an active loan before. Now, if you are trying to build up credit for something like trying to get a house or trying to buy something in particular, then you actually want to continue to pay that beyond the 6 to 7 months until you've actually gotten your score where it needs to be, and gotten approved for whatever it is. And then after that, at any time that you feel necessary, you could stop the payments on that and pull the money that you have put in out of the savings minus any fees and interest that you had. And that way you have effectively used the loan to build up your score, get what you needed to get, and you walk away with some money that you pulled out of a savings account from that account that was building credit for you. And I did mention it before, but the reason why it's important to have something that builds credit on all 3 credit bureaus is because you never know which bureau a lender that you go to may check. When you're applying for a house, they check all 3, but different lenders can check different bureaus. So since you're using this account that reports to all 3 bureaus, it can help build up all 3 scores and help you to have the better approval rate no matter where you go. Now, if you found this information useful, I'm gonna link to some other credit builder accounts that you can use to try to build credit, and some other credit information. If you got value from this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, and share this with other people that need to hear this information. Again, I thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys next time.